Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening at our City Council meeting. We'll go ahead and get started. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Adamson. Here. Bray.
Here.
Cheatham.
Here.
Johnston.
Here.
Lurick.
Here.
Messick.
Here.
Glad.
Here. Thank you. If you'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, after which, if you'd remain standing for the invocation, which will be offered by Tony Cycle from the Point of Singers representative. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama said this about compassion and society. When we are motivated by compassion and wisdom, the results of our actions benefit everyone, not just our individual selves or some immediate convenience. When we are able to recognize and forgive ignorant actions of the past, we gain strength to constructively solve the problems of the present. Every single being, even those who are hostile to us, is just as afraid of suffering as we are and seeks happiness in the same way we do. Every person has the same right as we do to be happy and not to suffer. So let's take care of others wholeheartedly, of both our friends and our enemies. This is the basis of true compassion. Thank you, Mayor Vlad and members of council, for your generous gift of service to the people of Pocatello.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 3 is the consent agenda. The following business items may be approved by one motion and a vote. If any one member of the council so desires, any matter listed can be moved to a separate agenda item. A, minutes. Council may wish to waive the oral reading of the minutes and approve the minutes from the clarification meeting and regular council meeting of July 5, 2018, and the study session of July 12, 2018, and the City Council study session clarification working lunch of July 19, 2018. B, payroll and material claims. Council may wish to consider payroll and material claims for the month of June 2018. Good evening, Ashlee. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Ashlee Welsh, interim CFO. Tonight, I am presenting the payroll material claims report for July of 2018. Total payroll and material claims were $5,469,216. Payroll-related claims were $3,497,545. We had changes in filled positions of an increase in 1 full-time, decrease in 1 half-time, part-time for 2 employees. Seasonal, we had a decrease of 3 employees, so for an overall decrease of 1 position for the month of July. Vendor claims for the month were $1,971,671. And I'll go over a few of the large vendor claims. We paid Knife River Corporation $141,030 for construction on the airport runway and taxiway. We also had, we paid Zions Bank $22,427 for the animal shelter bond. That was an interest-only payment. We paid Key Government Finance $88,831 for the water revenue bond, and that was also an interest-only payment. The remaining large vendor claims explain 83.39% of all the vendor claims for the month of July. On the back of the report, we have given
Before you leave that question,
yeah.
Smiley D's Masonry and Stucco for $58,000. That project's not going to begin until next week.
Right. So if that is approved tonight, we will get a check out
Okay,
to
this
them.
has not been issued.
It has not been.
Okay.
Nope.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be if it's approved.
Okay.
Okay. All right. On the back of the report, we've given you information on our June purchase card activity. We had 1,293 transactions for a total of $300,518, and we had 161 cardholders use their card in the month of July. We also had 5 purchase agents with monthly totals greater than $10,000, and the types of expenditures are listed for your review below. That completes my report. Are there any other questions?
Questions, council? Nope, doesn't look like it. Thank you. C, Historic Preservation Commission reappointment. Council may wish to confirm the reappointment of Jackie Alvord to continue her service as a member of the Historic Preservation Commission. Ms. Alvord's term will begin August 21, 2018 and will expire August 21, 2021.
Mr. Mayor,
Council
I move we
President Johnston.
approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have a motion by Council President Johnston and a second by Cheatham. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Johnston.
Yes.
Cheatham.
Yes.
Adamson.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Barrett.
Yes.
Knopf.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 4 is communication and proclamations. We do not have a proclamation, and I am not seeing any scouts out there, and so we will jump down to agenda item number 5, which is a calendar review. Council may wish to take this opportunity to inform other council members of upcoming meetings and events that should be called to their attention. On August 9th at 9 a.m., we will have a work session. August 15 at 11 a.m., Pocatello Development Authority meeting with city council members. August 16, 3 p.m., City Council Liaison work lunch clarification meeting. August 16, 5:30 p.m., a clarification meeting. And August 16 at 6 p.m., it will be a regular council meeting. Other
Mr. Mayor, on that Pocatello Development Authority, is that for all city council or just the ones who are normally assigned to that?
all city council.
Okay, thank you.
Just inviting all of the council members there to, so that's what that one is. August 11, Joint Jaunt Fun Run, sponsored by Portneuf Total Joint Center. Contact Community Rec Center for more information. August 18, Annual Zufari Ice Cream Event, 12 noon to 4 p.m. at Zoo, Idaho. August 20, Community Recreation Center will be closed for annual maintenance. Work beginning May, August 20. The center is scheduled to reopen on September 4 at 6 a.m. While the patron facility is closed, the business offices will remain from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Center Street underpass will be closed for repairs starting Monday, August 6th. The closure is scheduled for approximately 5 weeks. Please use our alternative routes. Volunteers wanted for the Terry First Build a Better Block event, August 22nd through the 25th. Sign up at terryfirst.com. A workshop is slated for Tuesday, August 7th from 6 to 7 p.m. at Portneuf Valley Brewing, and that is at 615 South First Avenue. We'll move on to agenda item 6, Childcare License Denial Appeal, Johnson. Megan Johnson will present an appeal. It will be present to appeal the decision of police department staff which denied Ms. Johnson a childcare license.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Janae Perman, licensing with the Police Department. After careful consideration, the Pocatello Police Department has denied Megan Johnson a child care license due to the fact she admitted to being guilty of committing domestic battery once in 2014 and again in 2017. However, she was not convicted on either charge.
Questions for Janae?
I'd be interested in hearing the defendant.
Ms. Johnson.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Megan Johnson. I had a rough past between 2014 and 2015. I was in an abusive relationship where my actions led to protecting myself. The past doesn't define who I am, and I have changed completely. I have all of my kids, and I really want to work with children, and I'm hoping to get a second chance. I'm wanting to work at my sister's facility, and I just am hoping for a second chance because the past wasn't who I am, and I have come a long way from where I was. He was mentally ill, and I stayed because I had a son with him until I realized that that wasn't the place for me and my son, and so I decided to leave. But that is why that's why I got the domestic battery tickets, is because I was protecting myself.
Could you describe the severity of this domestic abuse?
Well, he was borderline personality disorder, so he was more like a ticking time bomb. It didn't matter what I did, he would yell at me and try and attack me, try and throw me out of the house and drag me down the stairs. He would pick me up from work and accuse me of certain things, take off 100 miles an hour down the street in a car. One of the times was we were outside and he started attacking me, and in order to defend myself, I had to fight back, and the neighbor across the street saw me attack him. And they called the cops, and so they saw me attack him, and that was all. But we got that resolved, and they came in and explained to the court that it was self-defense. And the second time was, I was there by myself, and I didn't have any witnesses, and his family went against me. So I wouldn't have been able to make it in court with the 5 witnesses that he had compared to my 1 statement. So I went the route to plead guilty, do the 33-week domestic violence class, the parenting class, and I was on probation, and I successfully completed that. And so now I'm here today. I have full custody of my son that I had with him, and I have 2 other children, and my dream is to work with kids, and I'm hoping that this is my chance.
Is he still in the area? Do you have any contact with him
No,
at all?
I don't have any contact with him. I got full custody of my son. He lives in Nevada right now, and I haven't spoke to him in a few months.
Okay.
He hasn't had any contact with his son or anything. So, and if he does decide to come back down here, I won't have any contact, and neither will his son. So,
How do you feel that you've turned, you said your life is completely different? What changes have you made?
I've gotten help, and I've been with my fiance for almost 4 years, and we have 2 beautiful children together. And I have done the 33-week domestic violence class, which has showed me that there are alternatives to using violence. I'm in counseling, and I still am in counseling, and my son's in counseling. I thought that was love, because that was my first love, until I met my fiance, and I realized that that wasn't love. My sister helped me out quite a bit. She gave me a place to live. She fed me. She took care of my son. So I've just been through a lot, and for me to change and to come here has been a lot too.
Megan, have you been working in childcare?
Not necessarily in childcare, but I've helped at nursing homes, and not necessarily in childcare though.
Are you employed at the present time?
No, I'm a stay-at-home mom right now.
Okay.
Other questions, Council? Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have additional questions for staff.
Okay. Janae?
Ms. Johnson just indicated to us that her life has changed since she met her fiance 4 years ago. What are the timeframes that we're looking at that
So
some of these charges were brought?
2 particular incidences I'm speaking of where she admitted to guilt. One occurred in looks like May of 2014. The second incident that I'm speaking of occurred in November 16th of 2017.
Any other questions for Janae?
Can we ask Ms. Johnson to clarify?
Ms. Johnson?
If the second incident was in
2017, I went to go try and get my son from Kevin, his father, where he had tried to tase me and hold me hostage in the house. He wouldn't let me leave, and when I tried to leave, he grabbed my sweater and pulled me back, and as I was trying to leave, I pulled my arm back and elbowed him in the face. Not on purpose, but I was just trying to get away, and to get away from the place, and that's what happened. So that's where his family members were there and told the police officer that I had punched him several times in the face, which wasn't true. And that's when I knew that I couldn't beat that one, because there were 4 witnesses to my 1 statement. and that's what happened. But there was no violence. I was trying to get away from being attacked and tried to get away and ended up elbowing him in the face.
And you were not in a relationship with him at that point?
No.
You were with your
Yes, I was with my fiance.
Okay.
So I went alone, which I probably shouldn't have done, for one. But I was just trying to get my son back because I knew he wasn't in a good place.
Any other questions, council?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we grant the appeal of Megan Johnson.
Second.
We have a motion by President Johnston and a second by Cheatham. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Johnston.
Yes.
Cheatham.
Yes.
Adamson.
No.
Gray.
No.
Lurick.
Yes.
Manon.
No.
Brad.
I'm going over my notes, thank you. Boy, it seems like you've had a number of second chances a time or two to me. And it seems like 2014 and 15 were a while ago, and 17 is when this happened. I think I'm going to
You can put conditions on it, sir, if you choose to do that.
oh, she's had a 33-week class,
Yeah.
and after that class she had an issue in November 16, 2017. I was led to believe that these happened in 14 and 15 and that she had changed.
She's saying that the dates don't add up to what you have on the paper.
I did the 33-week class after
That incident in May.
Well,
I don't believe it was 2017. It seemed like it was before that.
Right now, I'm feeling like, council, I'm feeling like there's something there that's just not adding up to me with this, and I hate to do it because I am more than happy about second chances and stuff, but if we're going by the dates that we've heard, which is 2017, November of 2017. Yes, please.
So there was 2 incidences where you admitted to guilt, one of which was in 2014, one of which was in 2017.
I was pregnant in 2017, and I stayed clear, and it was way before I even got pregnant. It seemed like it was in 2000.
There was also an incident in 2015 where there was a domestic, but the charges were dropped.
Right, but I don't remember getting in trouble in 2017. I worked and I stayed home and I was pregnant. I didn't do anything. The only time I can think of was 2015, and then there was several of them in 2013 and 14.
Well, I guess technically this is public record. We have 2 officers on scene. It happened at 5:45 in the morning. They responded to the report of a physical disturbance at an address. Like I said, due to the lack of evidence, they did not charge you with it, but they talked to you and the gentleman involved about domestic violence and what could possibly occur, or, the outcome of that. without going into, too many details as far as the report's concerned, I mean, it is, it's the same person, it's your name, your date of birth.
So could the charges have been before she, said she was guilty, she said she was guilty on it?
What do you mean? So
would the charges been before, and then before she went into court for that charge?
Okay, so what the city code says for childcare is it's any admission to guilt.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you were charged for it or convicted in the court of law. So with this particular incident in November of 2017, you admitted to.
So I'm not here to listen to an argument back and forth and stuff like that. It's from what I'm understanding and seeing here, we have 2 officers on scene in 2017.
Correct.
And what the ordinance says and the code says, I'm going to have to uphold that ordinance in my mind and vote no. I'm really sorry to do that. But I feel like that's what we're going to need to do until we get things figured out. Thank you. Okay, now that that easy one's over, we'll move to agenda item number 7. Public hearing, proposed fiscal year 2019 budget. This time has been set aside for the council to receive public comment on the proposed fiscal year 2019 city budget. I declare the public hearing open. Ashlee.
Good evening, Ashlee Welsh, interim CFO. This evening's public hearing is to invite comments on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2019, which begins on October 1st. The mayor, council, and city staff began fiscal year 2019 budget development in March with initial direction on budget strategy items, which would drive the development of budget items. These initial decisions included fuel rates, employee compensation, personnel requests, and benefits. During this process, the city decided to allow for a one-step move for general and police employees. It was also decided that the city would be moving to Blue Cross for medical benefits and distribution amounts would remain the same. We continue to use the same budgeting process that began in fiscal year 2018, with each department providing service level information, a flat budget in operating and capital line items, and requests for increases and proposed fee increases. Revenue estimates were reviewed in June for non-property tax revenue. Minor reductions in revenue estimates were recognized in the cable franchise revenues and the magistrate court charges. Sales tax, building permits, natural gas franchise revenue, state liquor tax, and electric franchise revenue remained flat. The remaining few revenues forecasted growth for an overall increase of $384,935. This conservative approach to budget development was rewarded by allowing the council to add multiple positions as well as additional operating and capital to the fiscal year 2019 budget. Since valuation and new construction numbers are not available prior to publication, the mayor and council decided to publish the proposed budget by taking all of the estimated $24 million in new construction and the available 3% property tax totaling $861,097. This position gave the city flexibility to respond to the final budget after valuation numbers became available. This week, Bannock County provided the city with property valuation numbers, which indicated an overall increase of about $50 million in valuation. Overall, new construction was reported at $24,257,364, and annexation was at $316,132 for fiscal year 2019. Homeowners exemption remained at $100,000 for fiscal year 19. Overall, valuation of the city indicates growth. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the mayor, council, and city staff for all their assistance and hard work in preparing the fiscal year 2019 proposed budget. This budget addresses staffing needs as well as operating and capital needs for the services provided to our citizens. The city will receive public comment tonight, then consider the budget ordinance at the next regular meeting of August 16th. This concludes my presentation, and I will address questions at this time.
Questions, council? Okay, thank you. I'm sure you'll be back up here in a minute. Actually, Ashlee, before you leave, have you received any correspondence that we have not received in our...
No.
Tonight, okay. Thank you. Then I would look for any testimony, those supporting the application.
Michael Seibert, 1665 Pocatello Creek Road. And I didn't take a lot of time to go through it. I just sat here and glanced through it in the last half hour. And I do understand how hard it is to develop a budget, keep it intact, and keep it at a lower level when most of your spending is not discretionary, it's fixed. And you only have a small amount to deal with to try to counteract increases. But looking at this thing, one of my biggest concerns is kind of an extraordinary use of reserves in order to support spending. I thought we were starting to get on a pretty solid basis with our capital reserves in our departments, but I'm seeing a lot of spending of the reserve accounts down. And that is a good sign of the health of the city, is how many reserves you have. So that's one of my concerns. Also, Fund 73, which is, I think, was our water right bond. I see in the budget you got it marked for a capital expenditure in the water construction instead of securing water rights. And I prefer to see that be spent for water rights for the future. And then Fund 78, your capital acquisition outlay. I think there was $1 million in there, and I couldn't tell what it was for. Maybe Ashlee could explain to me what it is, that $1 million. And another concern is looking at the mill levy rate chart. We had a pretty good decrease going there into like the 2012, 2013 period, and the bar's going down. And something happened in 2012 and 2013 that's going back up. I thought maybe we elected Bernie Sanders to the city council or something, but I don't see him up here. But anyway, there's all kinds of things that could cause that, and I think some of the downturns was retirement of the large TIF districts and stuff that helped us with some of our mill levies there. But I was really concerned, the 3% increase your mill levy rate, but I think she just said the county increased the assessed value $50 million. So you'd think that through economies of scale, as things got bigger, you'd be able to spend a little less with more efficiency. But
Thank you.
But
anyone else in support of the application? I got to tell you, that was a weird support, but it works. Okay, any testimony uncommitted to the application? Any testimony opposed to the application? So do we have more opposed? If we have more opposed, if we would hand that back. Is anybody else opposed? Okay, if you'd just kind of get in line and that'll speed the process up a little bit for us. Thank you.
Verna Pittman, 13689 North Marble Drive, Pocatello, Idaho, 83202. Mayor, City Council members, I am responding to the Video Services Fund in the 2019 budget. At this time, there are zeros across the entire line item, which I believe means it is gone, and therefore deemed to have no value. I have concerns about losing our community access video services after it has provided invaluable service in our community for 45 years. What types of service have been provided? My programs over 17 years until the present have been current events for the blind, which is reading the journal, including obituaries for the visually impaired. Think About It, an educational program on money management, ABCs of Aging, community resources for the disabled and aging, potpourri pastimes, information on people's pastime activities in our community, sports, recreation, sewing, volunteerism, etc. Out and About with Verna and Dexter. My husband and I did a travel log, kind of a do-it-yourself retiree plan, and we did that for 9 years. Patriot Roots, a DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution plan on education, history, and patriotism. In fact, this month's program is on the Freedom Trail in Boston. These are just a few of my programs. There are many others. All provide valuable information for our varied greater Pocatello community. New Knowledge Adventures, business news, information on services in the community, fit and fall-proof, religious programs, etc. Are these all going away? Where is this information to come from in the future? In addition, video services provides other filming services like filming the dance recitals of our children and grandchildren and the graduation of our very proud young people. What better way for their accomplishments to be recognized than through a video of our graduating seniors receiving their diplomas? And because video services is there to capture the moment, parents don't have to miss out by using their cameras. They can enjoy the moment and then get a copy from video services. Just because I've been volunteering my time in Pocatello community access media for 17 years and counting, because I'm still doing it, it doesn't mean that I know all the services that are provided by community access. I hope you have asked video services staff about what they do. In conclusion, I believe the council needs to seriously consider the value of community access video services. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others opposed to the application?
Hi, my name is Michelle Muse, and this is my mom, Carol Murphy. Is it okay if I read this for her?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good evening. Oh,
Carol, would you put your name down? You're doing this for her?
Put her name down or mine?
Why don't you put your name down? Are you doing this kind of proxy for her?
Yes.
What we're doing? Okay. Is that all right?
Okay, good evening. My name is Carol Murphy. I have been a Pocatelloan for 46 years. Throughout this time, I have enjoyed many programs produced on the public access station. Now, in our golden years, my husband John and I depend upon the Fit and Fall exercise program produced by the ISU Physical Therapy Department, which appears daily on the public access. We are unable to attend exercise classes outside of our home, which therefore the daily Fit and Fall exercise program on Channel 64 helps us stay fit and away from falls. Please do not take away this value program that we and many others depend on. In fact, we strongly believe the public access station is a Pocatello gem, which should be valued and promoted rather than be canceled. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others opposed? That would be you.
I didn't trip, so I'm doing great.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. My name is Jamar Brown, 515 Barrett Avenue, Pocatello, Idaho. I am here this evening to speak on behalf of the League of Women Voters for Pocatello. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization that encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major public issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. We are here tonight to provide testimony to urge you to continue to fund Pocatello Community Media Services and personnel. PCM works closely with the League of Women Voters of Pocatello to strengthen our democracy and our community. PCM has videotaped candidate forums and our public meetings for many years. The PCM helps to empower voters in our community to exercise their voting rights by filming and streaming our candidate forums. They have taped and offered streaming for the community to access League public informational meetings on timely issues, including behavioral crisis centers, criminal justice, Idaho taxation policies, agricultural policy, clean energy, and water quality. We view these services as crucial in helping the League to keep the public informed about important issues, as well as political candidates. We feel Pocatello Community Media is an integral city service. We urge you to continue to fund them. It should also be noted that the League of Women Pocatello is the second largest local league in the state of Idaho, due to the diligence of some very dedicated members. I can assure you that these members are also some of the most influential individuals in our state. I believe that this is something our community can be really proud of. And now that she's here, I would like to acknowledge one of those women right now, Muriel Roberts. Not only is she one of the most influential women in the state, but she represents us at national. And so I'd like to thank her for her services. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jamar. Any others opposed to the application?
Hello, Mayor, City Council, City Clerk, City Attorney. My name is Annie Harrison. I live 325 West Buell, Pocatello, Idaho. I am a Idaho State University political science student, going on my last year. I'm also here reading for Liz Bucher, who is also an Idaho State University student and a veteran. Dear Mayor Blad, members of City Council, I'm Liz Bucher, student veteran at Idaho State University, community volunteer and resident of Pocatello. In addition, I am a director for League of Women Voters, Pocatello. Please forgive my absence. I'm recovering from minor surgery and I'm still not feeling my best. I would like to thank you for taking my public testimony into consideration this evening. Concerning this issue about funding Pocatello community media, I wholeheartedly support funding for the continued equity of all constituents. I believe that an informed electorate is necessary and vital to a free democracy. For example, there are constituents in our community that have disabilities which hinder freedom of movement. All City Council meetings and special events broadcasted over television accommodates people that may not be able to physically attend meetings. In the digital age we live in now, continued broadcasting also supports the active duty military constituents stationed outside of our local polling area. As a veteran, I strongly feel that the failure to fund Pocatello community media will be a dishonorable vote against our heroic military. On another note, I believe that maximum transparency and accountability is the most effective way to operate government. Providing as many means as possible for the electorate to participate in their government is my idea of integrity of government. As far as funding Pocatello community media, there should never be a loss of hope for funding. I'm a grant writer, and there is never a shortage of money. It's the matter of finding a funder who believes in what the city of Pocatello has done so well, caring for its people by providing this invaluable service. My solution to this particular funding issue is to create a special committee, as City Council members and community stakeholders secure funding for the continued broadcasting of the city's meetings and special events. The funding is there, we just need to find it. Again, thank you for taking my testimony into consideration. Most respectfully, Liz Bucher. I, as Annie Harrison, second everything she said. I say transparency is the key to good, accountable government. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others opposed to the application?
Hello, thank you for hearing us tonight. My name is Lisa Smith, 1734 Cheshire Avenue. Community access is important. We've heard tonight how it helps individuals and groups. I understand the need for a balanced budget, but I hope that you can look to save revenue elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Any others opposed to the application?
I've already signed. Do I get to sign it again?
No, you just only need to do it once.
Julian Carroll, 843 North 10th Avenue, Pocatello, and that's about 4 blocks away. So I'm very interested in voting. Since I'm a member of the league, that might not be not understood. Also voting for our neighborhoods. But I really don't want this to go away from the budget. I understand budgets are difficult, and I understand that, but we need information. All of us do not have computers. All of us do not have cell phones. Sometimes we do old-fashioned things like television. I realize radio's gone, but we do still have television. We need the channels such as 64. I am on Cable 1. That's my channel. There's also 2 other channels that I am concerned about. Channel 60, and I don't know if this has anything to do with the city of Pocatello, but it's education. I understand School District 25 may no longer support that either. If we lose both, that's really going to be hard. If everything is transferred to one on Channel 1 is 56, which is government, and that will be transferred to the IT department, I want to know if League will still have access, if other groups will still have access, if we will have the kind of access we have had in the past, if we will have to be charged for it, and also if we have a new IT director, which I understand is going to be soon, will they wish to do the same that you would like to do and have access, which I really think you probably want to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others opposed to the application? Okay, then we will move on to rebuttal and give Ashlee an opportunity to answer a few of the questions.
Ashlee Welsh, interim CFO. So a few of the questions, I had the reserve question about spending of reserves. We do have a policy in place that states we cannot spend reserves until we have more than 25% of the next year's operating budget. So those reserves that are being spent are above and beyond what we already feel like is fiscally responsible to have in case of an emergency. Fund 73 is for water rights purchases. We issued a bond in February of 2008. The money that is left in there could possibly be spent for water rights, so we budget for the full amount to be spent. I think it shows up as a capital line in there, but it is specifically for water rights for the city. Fund 78 is our capital fund. For the last couple years, we've had a capital contingency, which the council has discretion to use it how they see fit for certain projects. This year, we were able to move $1 million into a construction fund or a capital fund instead of in the general fund. We can levy direct for this, and that $1 million will be spent as council sees fit. So that's what that money is in there for. And then as far as the levy rate goes, the decrease in 2012 was due to, I believe, the Portneuf Medical Center and a TIF.
Yes.
And also we had a pilot in place. And so we didn't have to take as much in property tax. When we lost the pilot, we had to start making up for that in property tax. So that is why it was down, and then it started steadily increasing. And also the 3% increase that we published with the valuations that came in is about a 1.67% increase. So any other questions? Did I cover everything?
What is the budgeted plan for the video services?
We do not have it in the budget.
But we have...
So we moved the public information officer into the mayor's office, along with an operating budget for him. That was moved into mayor's department. And then we moved a video services employee into the IT department, along with a little bit of an operating budget for that, so that we would still be able to provide the government access.
And some education.
I think that was something we were rolling around if we could get the school district to help us out with that a little bit, to be able to do that, I think is what we were talking about.
But we had planned for our meetings to still be...
Correct, yes.
Filmed and...
Yes.
people would have access to watching our meeting.
How much of a revenue decrease have we seen annually in terms of our franchise fees on the cable?
Franchise fees have been going down anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a year. I think when I first started, we were up at the high, almost 300,000, and now this year we're budgeted for 200,000, and that's only been 4 years. So it's gone down a lot, and we don't see any hopes of that increasing.
And would it be fair to say that the diminishment of that franchise fee is because there's less and less people having access to our cable?
Correct. Yeah, that comes directly from the cable company's revenues. So.
What's the actual, you transferred budget to those two other departments. What do those two numbers amount to?
I'm trying to think of the exact amounts that we moved over. I think we moved about 100,000 into the mayor's budget and about 80 or so over to IT, around there.
So the prior budget was 340, as I remember.
Yeah.
So our actual net savings about 160.
Correct. We did have savings, and then we were able to move the cable franchise fee into the general fund also to help offset some of the things we needed in the general fund. Anything else? Nope.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I declare the public hearing closed. Council, this item's before you. How do you wish to proceed? Never mind. I just closing the public hearing. I declare the public hearing closed.
According to the clerk, if they want to suggest an ordinance be prepared for our next meeting, that would be appropriate.
If you feel that you want to do that.
How do you wish this item to proceed then?
How can we proceed unless we have our study session? Is that our preparation?
We can have I would think you would have an ordinance or a motion to proceed with the ordinance, and that would be pending the study session, so you have the exact amounts of what the percentages would be from the increased value, and then you could have a discussion on the video services as well to see if there's something you wanted to do there or what you wanted to do. But I would assume if it were me, I would think that you'd want to instruct council to prepare an ordinance pending the study session.
Mr. Mayor, I move we authorize legal to prepare an ordinance. Would it be legal to prepare an ordinance subject to our study session and the review of the numbers and reviewing the testimony that's been given to us tonight?
A second.
Okay. Okay, and so so I just want to be clear, you want the instructions to prepare the ordinance subject to the discussion of the outcome of the study session, and so we know what the numbers are.
The exact numbers.
Like that. Okay.
We don't want to go into it blind.
Okay, so we have a motion by President Johnston and a second by Manon. Connie, would you please call the roll?
Johnston.
Yes.
Manon.
Yes.
Atkinson.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Cheatham.
Yes.
Lurie.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to agenda item 8 is proposed public hearing, proposed fiscal year 2019 fee changes. This time has been set aside for council to receive public comments on proposed fee changes proposed for fiscal year 2019. I declare the public hearing open. You don't all have to leave. This is just getting exciting.
We love you, but I've got a good husband. My husband's
Okay.
They can propose we have for video.
Thanks, Dexter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ashlee Welsh, interim CFO. Tonight, we're holding a public hearing for the proposed increases to selected fees for the fiscal year beginning on October 1st, 2018. The proposed fee increases are due to an increase in cost of programs in an attempt by departments to recover costs of services through fees assessed versus tax increases. The goal of fees are to recover the full or partial cost of services that largely or solely benefit individuals, which allows maximum discretion in the use of taxes to meet the cost of services that provide a larger community benefit. This process is referred to as a cost recovery approach. Tax-supported services, which have a strong relationship between the cost of services and the benefit received by the individual receiving the service, requires a higher cost of recovery. Fees should be periodically adjusted to keep up with the inflation, or else more of the burden falls unfairly on the general taxpayer. During the budget development process this year, departments reviewed the cost of services to evaluate whether an increase in the program fees were required to meet the cost of recovery for the service. The majority fee increases are related to this process. This year, we have new fees in various departments. For instance, in the Ross Park Aquatic Center, we have the Lazy River Resistance walking session. Those fees are proposed for the new program that's going to be going on out there. In the cases of the utilities, sanitation, water, and water pollution control, these business type activities are 100% fee supported. No tax dollars are involved. Utility fees are reviewed by an outside consultant and designed to recover costs of providing the service to meet both operational demands and capital needs. The proposed fee increases related to sanitation, water, and water pollution control are set based on the rate study plan established during the rate study in fiscal year 2014, and this is the last year that this rate study will be in effect. The overall increase for sanitation is a 3% increase, for water a 4% increase, and for water pollution control a 3% increase. The Mayor and Council will consider citizens' opinions related to the fee increases at this public hearing, and the final step in the process is to adopt the fee resolution during the August 16th City Council meeting. This concludes my report, and I will address any questions at this time.
Questions, Council? Okay, before you walk away this time, have there been any other correspondence than the one we've received on the Ross Park Aquatic Center?
No.
Okay, thank you. Clerk, have we received any other correspondence? No? Okay, thank you. Then I would look for any testimony supporting the application, any testimony uncommitted to the application, any testimony opposed to the application. Well, you don't have a whole lot to say if you come back up here, though, so we will declare the public hearing closed. Council, this item's before you. My recommendation would be the same thing as we did the last time, is prepare an ordinance. Resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I move we authorize legal to prepare a resolution on these proposed fee changes.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by our President Johnston and a second by Adamson. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Johnston.
Yes.
Adamson.
Yes.
Gray.
Yes.
Cheatham.
Yes.
Lurick.
Yes.
Manon.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move to agenda item 9 is Idaho Department of Lands Grant Acceptance MOU Agreement. Council may wish to accept recommendations of Science and Environment Division staff for the following request related to creation of a tree inventory for the city subject to legal department review. A, support the acceptance of Idaho Department of Lands grant application in an amount up to $2,500, and if awarded, B, authorize the mayor's signature on documents related to the grant and memorandum of understanding MOU, subject to legal department review. Matching funds, 25%, will be through in-kind services from the Science and Environment Division. The funds will be used to identify the stormwater benefits of street and park trees.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilwoman Lurick?
I move that we approve the Idaho Department of Lands grant acceptance, an MOU agreement in an amount up to $2,500 if awarded, and authorize the mayor's signature on any documents subject to legal review. I move that we approve this.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Lurick and a second by Bray. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Lurick,
Yes.
Bray,
Yes.
Adamson,
Yes.
Cheatham,
No.
Johnston,
Yes.
Manon.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 10, bucket truck purchase, street operations. Council may wish to accept the recommendations from staff and approve the purchase of a 2009 International 4300 Trex TL50 MH bucket truck from Altec Norco in the amount of $60,000 and authorize the mayor to sign any contract document necessary to execute the purchase. Multiple quotes were obtained, but only one met the high requirements to complete the task required by the department. Bucket working height of 50 feet and a stow height of no more than 12 feet 3 inches to fit under the Center Street underpass is required. Funds for the purchase are available in the street operations fiscal year 2018 budget. Councilman Bray.
I move that we approve the purchase of the bucket truck, authorize the mayor to sign any contract documents necessary to execute the purchase.
Second.
We have a motion by Bray and a second by Adamson. It sounds like to buy a unicorn, but
We found a unicorn.
we did find it.
I would like attached to that a compliment to our staff for searching out a used piece of equipment at such a significant savings.
That's well noted. So a motion by Bray and a second by Adamson. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Bray,
Yes.
Adamson,
Yes.
Cheatham,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Lurick,
Yes.
Manon.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 11. Bid agreement, Center Street Underpass Rehabilitation Street Operations. Council may wish to accept recommendations of staff for the following request regarding the Center Street Underpass Rehabilitation. A, accept the bid received by Smiley D. Masonry and Stucco in the amount of $105,971.49, and if the bid is accepted, B, authorize the mayor to sign contract documents necessary to execute the contract between the city and Smiley D. Masonry and Stucco in the amount of $105,971.49 for the rehabilitation project, subject to legal department review. Rehabilitation will include, but is not limited to, removal of loose debris, pressure washing, plaster repair, base coat, and color coat, 2 colors, main color and accent color. City Street Underpass Rehabilitation Project was previously approved by City Council, and funds are available in the fiscal year 2018 Fund 70 budget. Councilman Bray.
Mayor, I move that we accept the bid from Smiley D's Masonry and that we authorize the mayor to sign any contract documents and that we also make that subject to legal department review.
Second.
So we have a motion by Bray and a second by Lurick. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Bray,
Yes.
Lurick,
Yes.
Adamson,
Yes.
Cheatham,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Manon.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 12, bid agreement airport reconstruction of taxi lane. Council may wish to accept the following recommendations of staff for the following request regarding a taxi lane reconstruction project at the Pocatello Regional Airport. A, accept the bid received from Mickelson Construction in the amount of $386,994.69, and if the bid is accepted, B, authorize the mayor to sign a construction agreement and notice of award between the city and Mickelson Construction in the amount of $386,994.69 for taxi lane reconstruction work. The project will be funded 93.75% by FAA grant funds and 6.25% by Airport Passenger Facility Charge, PFC, funds. The project is contingent upon the award of the grant funds and FAA approval.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to approve agenda item number 12, the bid agreement for airport reconstruction of the taxi lanes, accepting the bid from Mickelson Construction, and if accepted, authorize you to sign the construction agreement notice of award between the city after legal department review.
Second.
Thank you. And so we have a motion and a second. But before we vote on it, I might just mention that we appointed our new airport director, Benjamin West, I think at the last meeting, and he's already tearing things up over there at the airport, it looks like. And so it sounds good. We'd like to just publicly welcome you to our community and thank you for being here. Sounds great. So we have a motion by Cheatham and a second by Johnston. Connie, could you please call the roll?
Cheatham?
Yes.
Johnston?
Yes.
Adamson?
Yes.
Bragg?
Yes.
Lurick?
Yes.
Manon?
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 13, discussion items. This time has been set aside to hear discussion items not listed on the agenda. Items which appear somewhere else on the agenda will not be discussed at this time. The council is not allowed to take any official action at this meeting on matters brought forward under the agenda item. Items will either be referred to the appropriate staff or scheduled on a subsequent agenda. You must sign in at the start of the meeting in order to be recognized. As a reminder, there is a 3-minute time limit per person and 15 minutes for this agenda item. We'll go ahead and get started. Mike Seibert.
Mike Seibert, 1665 Pocatello Creek Road with the Outback Golf Park. And Mayor and Council, I'd just like to update you on the water issue we're having there. And since that well casing was drilled adjacent to my well, the well capacity went from 135 gallons a minute down to 100, which is about a 33% reduction, and I've re-nozzled everything down to compensate. But if I run more than about 3 hours, the water drawdown goes all the way to the pump and it shuts off. So when I irrigate now, instead of turning it on and going to bed and get up in the morning, it's all irrigated. I had to divide the thing into 3 sections and it'll take 3 days of water. And I can irrigate for about 3 or 4 hours. So I haven't had a night of sleep since the season started. So what you do is you start irrigating about 11 o'clock. Then at 2 o'clock, alarm goes off. I get up and I go out and see if the pump's still running. And more than half the time it's shut off because it's got drawn down all the way. And then so I let it charge for an hour, start it back up, and then I go back to bed. I've been doing this all year. And so anyway, and there's 2 wells that are doing the same thing. The smaller well, the 7.5 horse pump, used to deliver 60 gallons. It delivers about 25. Now you run it for about 30 minutes, and it just pumps sand in there. And it's never had a problem. It was drilled, the wells were drilled in 1953, and never had one issue all the time we used it. In fact, my static level and drawdown was increasing over time. Especially when you put the water line at Pocatello Creek. And now, since that casing got punctured or perforated in March, everything just disappeared. So that's where I'm at, and I think there's maybe a study session coming up. I haven't got official notice, but I heard there might be.
There was, I'll remind you, there was Councilman or Council President Johnston asked us to get that on a study session, and so we've done that. It will be in September is when that study session will happen. We had people out, and we've got to get the studies done and everything like that so that we can have you some good. I hate to say that because I haven't had a night's sleep.
I was thinking about calling every council member when I get up.
When you get up, see if their water's on.
Not a good idea if there's a vote that's going to be taken.
But yeah, we are working on it. We do have staff working on that so that we can get some answers for you.
And what I'll do is I'll put together any information I have in the current status before whenever the study session is.
Would it help to have some staff or get that information from you as well so that they can have some answers for you, or can they do
Justin has asked for whatever you passed out at the last meeting.
Yeah, I can put a package together and give it to you guys.
Okay.
And I'll include whatever's currently happened.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds great.
But I don't know how much longer I can keep that up. I'm getting pretty old. I like to sleep.
That sounds good. Thank you. With that, Mike is the only one on our discussion items, so thank you very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you being here, and with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.